You see this? This is a stealth archer playthrough in Fallout 4. As you can see, it's just insane. You thought the stealth archer in Skyrim was bad? Well, mix in nuclear arrows and you get this run in Fallout 4. I've taken up archery in real life and got to say I kind of wanted to give it a crack in a Fallout challenge. There's guns, grenades, Fat Man launchers, but one of you lovely audience said about the Lstring mod, letting archery be its own thing in Fallout 4. So today we asked the question, can you beat Fallout 4 as an archer? As I said before, we're using the Lstring mod. It's an absolutely fantastic mod, and after going around the blocks a couple of times, it's just amazing. The link will be in the description down below, but onto using the bows and arrows. You have the humble wooden bow with basic arrows, to the frankly absurd nuclear bomb arrows and storm arrows. So really looking forward to this little gem of a run. The bows will be scattered throughout the world as well, and also the mod says enemies will have these weapons themselves. So we may see explosive arrows and nuclear arrows. Not sure how this will affect the gameplay, but it's challenges like this that get me fired up. And as for the rules, needless to say, we can only use bows and arrows. We're playing on survival difficulty, and lastly, the standard no cheating and exploits. So with all that out the way, let's head into the run. We start the game up and decide our stats. We're going with 4 strength, 4 perception, 5 endurance, 1 charisma, 6 intelligence, 6 agility and 2 luck. We will also be using bobbleheads and Sean's special books to up our stats a little bit further. But we name ourselves the legendary Clint Barton. Comment down below if you know the mantle of who he is. All I can say is he is certainly the right man for the job. The world then unfortunately ends and our superhero story begins. As per the usual, we lock the rad roaches out, grab the Pip-Boy, and sure enough, we are released and ready for the hunt and to be the best stealth archer who ever lived in the wasteland. So, our first things first, we grab some spare materials around Sanctuary and we can grab ourselves a simple wooden bow and arrow. It's only got wooden stone point arrows, but very humble beginnings here for sure. It's then time to put our archery straight to the test. So we go find some raiders, and I will admit it did take a moment to get used to the arrows since they don't fly straight, they actually go in an arc, which is very true to real life. So when sniping enemies, it's very much getting used to shooting in an arc, not a straight line like you normally would. It took a moment to get used to it, but when the arrows start hitting, oh boy does it feel awesome. This thing is satisfied as all heck. Almost good as, dare I say, a cup of Yorkshire tea. But when our stealth archer rampages through, we get a couple of kills to seal the deal, and then we see Preston and Co. It wouldn't be very heroic of us if we ignored them, so we snagged the perception bobblehead, getting the all-important 5 perception, letting us get the demolition perk down the line. But now we need to step up to the mark and face the raiders outside with no Brotherhood patrol to save us, so it's time to test our mettle. The raider that appears on the rooftop is no problem, and since we're up high, hitting people with archery isn't a problem. And strangely enough, Vats is super strong with the bow. Not game breaking, but we can guarantee headshots if we need to. But shooting down the sights is just too satisfying to pass up. And when we get them hits, oh my god, it's really good, so no complaints here whatsoever. When we eliminate most of the raiders, it's time for the Deathclaw. And this Deathclaw fight is absolutely hilarious. So the Deathclaw decides to run around and play, eating all the raiders, and when it runs out of raiders, it hides from Preston's laser musket, since he's being a very smart Deathclaw. We go up and start sniping him, he goes towards Trudy's, and sure enough, the Freedom Calls quest meets Trudy's quest. So Wolfgang is just oblivious to what's going on, but carnage ensues since Trudy's diner is the safe zone, and the Deathclaw gets an absolute ass whooping from Trudy. She faces down a Deathclaw, gosh darn it. We then return the favour by peppering Wolfgang with arrows and critting Simone almost instantly, so 2 birds 1 stone right there. Absolutely chaotic and hilarious, and why I love Fallout. All that sorted, we level up and go for Aqua Boy so we can swim and no longer take radiation damage whilst in the water. The Minutemen get rolling into Sanctuary, and after a little bit of building, we're doing extremely well. Freedom Calls is handed in, as well as Sturge's quest of just talking to him since the base of the settlement is built, and we have 2 level ups. And before we allocate them, I decide to get Sean's special book and get +1 agility, allowing us to grab Ninja. So that's exactly where our first level up is going, and this is a stealth archer playthrough after all. And our second level goes into Iron Fist, since we'll need it to help upgrade our bow on the workbench. So yeah, with the level ups done and a newly upgraded bow from the workbench, it's time to hit the road. So we go to the USS Satellite Array, and there's a pretty devastating opponent here in the form of Ak Ak. Now, Ak has a minigun, so it's kind of our opposite here. So if we get caught in the open, we're dead. So we are extremely careful as to not draw her attention and pick off her raiders in a very stealthy manner. It actually takes a degree of skill, but got to say, yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with the bow. And Ninja is just blimming godlike with this weapon. And once we whittle everyone down, Ak is taken out, and then her friend decides to use the minigun. The blimmin' cheek of it, I tell ya. But still need to work on double kills with the bow, but we're getting there. We grab the locket and go into the storeroom at the entrance, and awaiting us there is a US Covert Ops magazine, making it harder for people to see us. An absolutely amazing bit of kit for us. Once all that is done, we walk over to Abernathy Farm and hand the locket to get a bunch of XP. Whilst on the topic of good deeds, I decided it would be nice to clear out the ghouls in Lexington, since it's a good thing to do and we are trying to be a hero in this Fallout playthrough, since Fallout needs a few more kind souls in it, especially on survival mode. We level up and put all of our points into Charisma, so almost all the perks we want are unlocked. We just need a couple more stats and we're good. So keeping up with the hero act, we take out a house with a noise complaint since it's got 2 turrets and a couple of raiders. That is no good in Lexington, so they're dealt with in a stealthy manner, but we need to deal with the obvious threat of the Corvergia power plant. It simply won't do, ladies and gentlemen, but we'll come back with a little bit more firepower since we'll be in a spot of bother if we try now. However, Tales of a Junktown Jerky Vendor is here. Always good to see it in these playthroughs. Then we rest in the beds here since it'll be a nice spot to respawn. More skirmishes on the way to Bunker Hill, but when we get there and drop off our excess ammo, there's also a bridge to go to the main part of the city, and some raiders are there. Just like something from a movie though, we take them out from the mist and even use that to take down the raider psycho, just like an Avenger. We level up to level 8 people and we finally grab Lone Wanderer, an excellent perk for us since it will solve our problem of carry weight and reduce our damage by 15% from the enemies, an absolute staple for these challenges. We make our way to the Boston Library to, you guessed it, get the intelligence bobblehead, raising our intelligence by +1. This is pretty damn nice as it will let us get a few nice upgrades, but for now it's time to walk to Bunker Hill and start swimming. This is going to take a while since there is a lot of distance to cover, but at the end of our journey is the one and only Luck bobblehead, raising our luck to 3. However, now we have to swim back, so yeah.
1 hour later.
Now that we're back, it's time to head on over to the Cambridge police station and go see the Brotherhood, since they're killing ghouls out there. Don't know how long for, but by the time we get there, Paladin Tance takes care of the ghouls and we're out of ammo. But we accept to join him on his mission. We not only get a small resupply, we get an upgraded bow. Ladies and gentlemen, we get the recurve bow. The mod also has an item that lets you change ammo on the fly, and there's lots of different ammo here, including flame arrows, explosive ammo, and it's just absolutely amazing. We also have 2 level ups, so both level ups go into Bloody Mess, giving us 10% more damage across the board. So if everything's set, it's over to ArcJet Systems, people. ArcJet Systems isn't too bad. We may only have 16 arrows, but we can retrieve them no problem. But the bow is doing significantly more damage and Dance is doing some heavy lifting. So much so that when we go to turn on the thruster, there really is no need since there's no enemies around, but Todd says we have to, so might as well. But when everything is sorted, the deep range transmitter is ours. And this whole ordeal took a while and we level up and get gun nut rank 1. So we can now make the arrows we found, the field point arrows. So our gear is now moving up a tier. The rest of the crew are actually kind of nice to us, but since it's survival mode, we're over encumbered, taking damage, and are exhausted. So yeah, it didn't come without its perils, but we can't sprint. So we need a bed, but we have the Overland Station, and they point us to our next objective. We're going there anyway, so we hoof it up on over to Sunshine Tidings. On our way there, we meet Bethany, a doctor, and she fixes us up. Then I go in her shed, and it gives us a lot of rad, so we need to be fixed up again. Go me. But then we also get some antibiotics for the road. These are actually super important in survival mode, as you can get sick and ill, and yeah, you get a lot of debuffs for your character. But once we're in Sunshine Tidings, we get the ruffians dealt with. Then we get the most overpowered magazine for healing items, Wasteland Survival, that doubles your gains from animal kills. This is a personal favourite of mine. I also use it in the poison run to great effect. But we resupply, rest up, and it's time to carry out our task from the Brotherhood as well, as we deal with the Converger power plant from earlier. So we travel to Lexington on foot with some fresh paint on our bow and start going after them dastardly raiders, as we have to clean up the crime in the streets. But since there's a raider with a fat man, we kinda can't let that escape us. So they get stuck on the stairs, and it's easy, but there's also a chemistry station on the roof. So we make some fire point arrows, and well, this is our first taste of power, since these are like the arrows we use now, but act like a Molotov when they hit any surface. And as you can see, it does a lot of damage just from the burning alone. This is amazing, and after sneaking around, we get our first multi-kill. Ladies and gentlemen, the power creep is real, and it only gets better from here. We do level up and go for Rifleman rank 2, giving us a 40% damage increase since the bow does scale with Rifleman. And we don't even have to hit our targets at this point, as we can just burn them. But the fire arrows are gone for now, but on the rooftop, we're in our element. The raiders don't even stand a chance, since we are Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye. Well done, whoever knew Hawkeye's alias at the start of the video. If you did guess it, well done, you have my thanks. So, with this place cleaned out, we get a few more objectives. God forbid what the Triggermen are going to do when we shirt. They really aren't going to stand a chance. But we start clearing out the ghouls, and they use melee, so it's really not a problem. But I've just got to say, just give this mod a try. It's so much fun, and it's just brilliant. We report back only completing Night Ray's mission, since Halen's mission is literally in Far Harbor, so thanks, Halen. I don't know what you were thinking. Dancing gives us a mission to locate a former recon team. Not a problem, and this quest I actually remember where we need to go. This is going to take us a while, but we do level up and get gun nut rank 2. This is where the fun begins with the bow, since we can now use broadheads. These are our best normal arrows that do bleeding damage. These raiders are the unfortunate souls who had to find out the hard way. But back onto the patrol, and eventually we get to a bunker. We meet a guy called Paladin Brandis, and he kind of wants to be left alone since he's been chewed up for a few years. We decide to go ahead and just say, yep, no problem, and we report back to Dance, and he shares the same sentiment as us. So with all this adventuring done and having the absolute best time ever in Fallout, it's time to finally go and get Nick Valentine, because we need to get the main story done at some point, and it's just so much fun playing with the bow. But we do get a level up, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is where things get bonkers for us, since we just go with 1 rank in Demolition Expert. That's it, but that single point gives us everything we need to make more types of arrows, and I think you guys will like it a lot. The power creep is very real. These arrows are amazing. The explosive arrows can be retrieved after they explode. Not sure how that works, but more than happy to oblige, Todd. And the flame arrows are still really good. Whilst the explosives still hefty damage, the flame arrows are excellent for area denial and choke points. And the good old broadheads are excellent if we want to play it safe, living up to the Hawkeye name. When we get to the Triggermen, oh boy, are they in for it, since we go around and we do an absolute slaughterfest and a cleanup on Isle Triggermen. They just can't even stand up against us, since the Triggermen are a joke at this point, since our firepower and armaments are just too good. We find Dino, shoot an apple off his head, and free Nick Valentine. We're not even at our peak yet, and Nick says we did this hard and loud, despite the Triggerman not even knowing we're here. Not sure what you're saying there, Nick, but sure. Anywho, you thought the Tesla cannon fight with Skinny Malone was good? Well, this is the #1 fight. Literally, almost instantaneous. When we leave, Nick says to meet in Diamond City, and on our way there, we have to clean up the crime in the area. And of course, it's our job, since we are an Avenger after all. So after the raiders and super mutants are cleared, we're given the all clear from Diamond City security.
Damn, not afraid of mutants, huh? You're our kind of guy.
We get some combat armor from Arturo and then go see Nick. We do the old interview, head to Kellogg's place, only to find we need a key. And since we have a fair amount of caps, we just bribe our way through. I was not expecting this next part, since we press the switch in Kellogg's house, then the most beautiful things happens. We get a compound bow. That's fine. Don't really want it, the recurve is good. But as if things weren't ridiculous enough already, we now have the nuclear and storm arrows. And you bet your pot of tea I'm trying these out on something. So we get Nick, called Dogmeat, to celebrate this, and sure enough, it's time to follow Dogmeat. But first we level up, and we've been putting our points into intelligence for the past few levels. And now we get nuclear physicist, so we can make nuclear arrows once we get gun nut rank 3. So yeah, doing pretty good. We get nuclear bomb arrows, as if explosive arrows weren't enough, and it's certainly insane. But we head on over to Fort Hagen, and I make the discovery that this is the most powerful run today. I'm not even joking when I say this, but we can retrieve our nuclear arrows, meaning we are quite literally more deadly than anything the enemy can handle. This makes this run probably in the top 3 most overpowered runs. So as a gentleman's agreement, I shall only use 1 nuclear arrow on our person at any one time. You know, a powerful run when you have to limit your ammunition type, and dear lord, it's like we have perfected being an archer. All it took was nuclear fallout, ingesting a lot of tea, and having the best time ever. This isn't even the most powerful arrow we could use, by the way. There is one more arrow that's better, but oh, game, I love this challenge run. The challenge is on the enemy though, not us. So we demolish the enemy forces on the way to Kellogg, and after all, the patient hunter gets the prey. We don't forget the energy bobblehead, since this makes our nuclear and explosive arrows even stronger, so go figure. Also, we level up, so Lone Wanderer rank 2 is gained, so 30% less damage and extra carry weight. All is good. And we get another issue of Covert Ops magazine, so we're harder to detect. All good stuff, but now it's on to the fight you've been waiting for. Here he is, Kellogg Cornflakes. Now I said there's one more arrow that is more powerful than a nuclear arrow, and here it is, courtesy of Kellogg's house where we found the nuclear arrows. So how this works is we paint a target and our arrow locks on and throws out a cluster of missiles, like so. And now that Kellogg is dead, I did try his outfit on and it actually suits us more than I thought, so why not use it for ourselves? But a sort of shield carrier appears and we're safe, so we go over to Diamond City and talk to Nick and Piper. Nick meets us at the memory den and we go see Dr. Amari, who says that we can go through Kellogg's memories. So once we do, Kellogg speaks to Institute Corsa, and as with all these runs, Brian Virgil is mentioned, so we have the main story's hook. And after making sure we can still serve the Brotherhood of Steel, it's our job to go to the Glowing Sea to see if we can find Brian Virgil. And well, things around here are not really a problem for us. I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but Glowing Sea is very enjoyable as we rack up some kills. Whether it's Deathclaws, Rad Scorpions, or even just a throng of ghouls, it's just amazing. And of course the Deathclaw outside Virgil's cave, we just one-shot it because of course we do. We're a stealth archer, so no sweat, no fuss. But inside we meet Virgil, and he sets us on a path to kill a Corsa. And well, being we have quite the kill tally already, it's nothing we can't handle. But we got a long walk back, so yeah, that's fun. After resupplying and turning up to Green Tech Genetics, we have not 1 but 2 level ups. So we go for Ninja rank 2, and for our second level up, it goes into Rifleman rank 3, so we can deal even more damage and ignore more armor. We use all of our arrows here, the broadhead as our staple, and then we use the nuclear arrow for the missile gunner so he can't one-shot us, and then the fire arrows just absolutely dominate in the corridors. They were certainly efficient getting multi-kills and making the enemy panic. As for the Corsa, well, we have a nuke, so here's how it went.
Get over here.
After taking the Corsa chip and a small walk, dealing with some raiders, we do some rooftop jumping to try and access the secret back door to the Railroad HQ. But it's locked from the other side, so we do it the old-fashioned way and go to the North Church. We do our thing, of course, murder and mayhem, spin the dial, and hey presto, Desdemona & Co. are here. But a good old nuclear arrow sees that they are no longer threatening us, and when the cavalry arrives, 1 flame arrow stops them, and when inside the Railroad HQ, a second flame arrow pretty much clears them all out. I'm starting to really like these flame arrows. They seem to get results. But unfortunately, it's time for a very, very long walk over to Virgil, and when we're done, we finally can be done with the Glowing Sea. So we report to Paladin Dance, take a vertebra to the Pridwin, only to then report in and listen to Maxon's speech. When it's over, Maxon speaks with us and he lets us know we are promoted tonight. So everything's cool, and after going around the ship, we go ahead and speak to Maxon again, and he wants Fort Strong signal taken out so they can claim Fat Man shells, which is, fair enough. So we need to suit up and don our military gear again. It was nice wearing the Kellogg outfit, but it's time to serve the shield carrier, aka the Pridwin. We start by taking out a couple of mutants with our broadheads and then wounding the behemoth with an explosive arrow, so an excellent start. Then we run and hide, since that's kind of what we do as a stealth archer, and then do the 1-2 punch of using the nuclear arrow, guaranteeing a kill, and all his friends get explosive arrows in the face. Unfortunately, we can't retrieve our arrows, because go figure, but that's okay, we can always make more. Inside, we have the king of choke points, the fire arrow, and it gets to work just burning everything with fire. It's wonderful, it's amazing, and we get another issue of covert ops for our troubles as well. A single fire arrow pretty much takes care of the mutants down below, so no more missiles for us, and our broadhead cleans up the remains, so we done good. Paladin Dance says, well done, cleans up after us, so we head back to the Pridwin, and Maxon, the gosh darn amazing man that he is, gives us Vertibird signal grenades. These are amazing in survival mode, since they are our only way to get around the map quickly, so we've now unlocked the Vertibird taxi service, a huge quality of life improvement, and hence why I sided with the brother Distill. But we get the Vertibird since we need some materials. A little trick for you all: go near the Drumlin Diner in this bunker and there's everything you need on the Mr. Gutsy. All it requires is getting a novice terminal and takes out a lot of the legwork. So we get back on the Vertibird, as these things are awesome, and then the signal interceptor is built and we're sent into the Institute, and needless to say, we disagree with Father on what's going on. He even gets our son's name wrong. They're called Cooper and Nathaniel, not Sean. So this is clearly an arm of Hydra. So we get out of Dodge immediately, and I low-key wanted to know what would happen if we didn't recruit Dr. Lee. Turns out there is actually a failure state here. The first time I've ever encountered it. It is actually pretty cool. We go see the doctor and get back into shape, and it's over to Ingram, and turns out there is in fact another robotics expert, Dr. Skara in Diamond City. After all of that, we then upgrade our bow to a £90 draw. In real life I've drawn a £40 and that is a workout. Drawing a £90 bow, you're getting into warbow territory, so yeah, this is a really serious bill of kit. We also have 2 level ups, so we put 2 points into sneak, getting it to rank 3, so we are harder to spot and no longer set off mines or floor traps. We also build a water supply in the Boston airport as a way to get purified water whenever we need it, since it's really useful in survival mode and food isn't really a problem anymore, so we're set. Anyway, we go to Professor Skara's home and find only her colleague, and she says she's been out for too long, so it's our job to make sure she's okay. So after getting off the Vertibird, we arrive at General Atomics, and well, it's run by Mr. Handy, so we do the most unthinkable thing and move an item after being told not to, making the shopkeeper hostile. I can understand he is within his right, but all the guards are struggling to find us, and we destroy them because, well, stealth archer, what can I say? And we do the most unthinkable thing in the wasteland, queuing. Yes, behold, the most civilized thing ever. By the way, our ticket is number 22, so we wait in the queue. Such riveting gameplay, is it not? Now that we've been civilized, it's time to return the favor and absolutely destroy and pancake all the Mr. Handys in the area. We get what we came for and talk to Professor Scar. Apparently Professor is her first name, but she agrees to come work for us because she knows her manners, and there's no mess, no fuss. We board a Vertibird, head back to the Pridwin because these things are amazing because it's survival mode. Anyway, we see Scar and Ingram at work. It's kind of strange, being I'm used to Dr. Lee being here, but it's pretty cool. They set us to build some actuators, very simple, and then we are tasked with getting Liberty Prime's nukes. So we have to head into the glowing sea once more, and we meet up with none other than Scribe Halen. She gives us a distress pulsar and sends us on our way. The task itself isn't actually too difficult, a few shots here and there, and our favourite thing of setting choke points on fire with napalm arrows. But the funniest part is using a glowing one to distract Henry and the Assaultron, only for us to get an explosive arrow in the mix, and it gets hilarious results. So well done guys, and now you're dead. But once we place the distress pulsar, we have to get the Vertibird taxi service and report on back to our colleagues. Once that's done, we're called upon by Elder Maxon. He says the data we got from the Institute matches up and that Dance is indeed a synth. Our charisma check does pass, but we go to Quinlan, pet the kitty, and have Scribe Halen burst through and give up his location. So we get a Vertibird immediately and land to confront Dance. Now, I have to admit, I felt a little bit bad here. I tried so hard to spare Dance, but our charisma just isn't high enough, so we kinda have to execute him. Not feeling good about this. The guy who saved us is now dead, but we have to continue on in his memory. It's days like this where Hawkeye is not having a good day. Maxon, however, is delighted and promotes us to Paladin, so thanks, Maxon. But we're now a senior officer in the Brotherhood of Steel, and we have 2 level ups, at least that's something. They both go into Demolition Expert, raising it to rank 3, so our explosives do more damage and are bigger and better. So we're Michael Bay with explosives now, fantastic. The next mission is given by Captain Kells, and we are to eliminate the railroad. Since we've already done the heavy lifting here, it's just sweeping up the crumbs, but it's still a lot of fun. Absolutely amazing. Just love using the bow and arrow. Chef kiss right there. After that, we immediately head to the mass fusion building. The fighting is kind of standard, but the reactor isn't all that bad since we grabbed the beryllium agitator, and then it's time to fight some robots. Our explosive arrows just make absolute melter fashion out of these guys, turning them to scrap metal. And, well, the Stealth Archer playstyle is out of control for them. As we deal with the Institute, we resupply ourselves and go on over to meet Prime. This is it, the final push to completing this run. We have Optimus Prime, aka Liberty Prime, aka the big scary robot, and he's in fighting shape. Ingram gives us the green light, so we install the agitator, turn on Prime, and it's time to storm the Institute. Liberty Prime leads the way and is as powerful as Ultron, and he just destroys everything in his way, making it roadkill. Nothing can stand up to him, and he just annihilates everything. As we go to the CIT, it's a laser disco, what more could you want? And we just sit and wait as the Brotherhood of Steel just rampage through everything. Aren't they the best? Also, Liberty Prime looks amazing as he shoots his eye lasers into the ground, making an entrance for us, so thank you, Liberty Prime, you are amazing. We jump in the hole, we meet Elder Maxon, and he hands us a pulse charge. We know what we must do. We have to teach these Institute peoples a lesson. So we go in, start taking down the initial forces with flame arrows before going loud and just using explosive arrows as they brute force our way through into Biosign. It's the same old story, lots of explosive arrows and then the main plaza. We step up our game and use the singular nuclear arrow to devastation. Of course, we can retrieve it and reuse it multiple times, really laying in the enemy, and then it's seeing farther. And well, we don't use arrows here since a good punch in the face sorts this out, and we kind of do this multiple times. Just to make sure, you know, he's kind of evil and all that, so several punches in the face. Now everything is in place, we go to advanced systems, do our last bit of sniping, and Maxon is just a beast and destroys everything in his path, clearing the way. They replace the pulse charge, get to the teleporter, ends in the run, answering the question, can you beat Fallout 4 with a bow and arrow? And yes, you can. And Todd, please add this to the game. It's simply amazing. There we go, ladies and gentlemen, a bit of archery in Fallout 4, and I've got to say, this mod didn't disappoint. Thank you to the audience member that recommended this mod. I've got to say, it's absolutely amazing, so thank you very much. And because I enjoyed it so much, I'm actually going to do a part 2 and go into Nuka World because, well, we need to see what them storm arrows are capable of, don't we? And yeah, but also, thank you very much for watching. Like the video if you liked the video, comment down below even if you just wish to say hi or recommend a challenge, and subscribe if you're new. I've been Insane Frame, and yeah, this run has been absolutely phenomenal, and definitely give it a go. It's an absolutely cracking mod. Anyway, have a good day, look after yourselves, have a fantastic night. I've been Insane Frame, and I'll see you in the part 2 of this video. So take care, and I'll see you then. Ta-ta for now.